What is up, guys? Welcome back to the bull market. For a while, it looked like things were slowing down, but we got a quick reminder that Bitcoin hasn't left the room just yet. Bitcoin touched a low of 89,000 and is now back up around 100, up 12% from that recent low. The chart you're looking at right now is the weekly chart from 2023 to where we are today. Bitcoin is continuing the parabolic trend. Before we get started, be sure to consider joining Patreon every weekday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We do a private voice chat where you guys can ask me questions directly. Click that link below and join Patreon today. Now, looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart, we can see that the price has had a significant rebound after touching 89,000. Things got pretty bullish pretty quickly, testing 100,000 today. Bitcoin is coming up on a major downward sloping resistance line. We're also coming up on a major RSI resistance on the daily and a potential breakout zone. What I think is likely right now, this is just my opinion, is that Bitcoin, whether we get short-term resistance and get a higher low with a breakout or we break out sooner, regardless, I think Bitcoin is going to be playing out a break, hook, and go, running us to new all-time highs sooner than you might expect. In markets, a lot of times the growth takes place in a very short period of time, and there's a lot of sideways action that happens after. Go to the weekly chart and you can see from that low of the parabola, there were only a few zones where the growth was actually captured. 27,000 up to about 40,000. If you missed that zone, you missed a lot of the gains. And then from 42,000 up to say 55,000, you pretty much missed most of the gains because you could have rebought these prices a little bit later. And especially the zone that we just saw going into the new year, if you weren't in the market from 66,000 up to 89,000, well, you missed most of the gains. Most of the growth that Bitcoin has seen took place really in just 3 areas, and each time it was, a few weeks at a time. The rest was just sideways, sideways, sideways. And so I think we're going to be getting something similar coming up where the market's going to move much faster than people expect. It's going to leave people in the dust, and it's going to send us up to a much higher price level, a full continuation of the parabolic trend, giving us another growth spurt to another high before maybe seeing some sort of sideways formation. Whether we get continuation after hitting our next major target, which I think is going to be around 124,000, whether we get continuation off of that level or whether we, settle up in around this range and then break the parabolic trend, quite simply, it has everything to do with just maintaining the trend line. And this trend line is actually getting pretty steep now. So if Bitcoin's price continues the parabola in this trajectory and we hit something like 124, maybe 130,000, and then we trade sideways through the parabolic trend line, I'm going to expect a major downturn after that, settle up into the summer, and then run to a new all-time high above 140,000 before the end of the year. Something like this is what I think is most likely right now. Anything can happen, anything can change, but for now, that is my current outlook. And now switching gears really quick to altcoins. Now, I know some of you like altcoins, some of you don't, but it's been an area of interest for a lot of people. What you see at the bottom of the screen here is something I published on TradingView, and it's called Altcoin versus Bitcoin Market Cap Heat Map. And what it is essentially the Bitcoin to total 3 pair. The total 3 is the altcoin market cap, everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And looking at the altcoin to Bitcoin heat map, and if you also pull up the Bitcoin halving cycle profit, you can see in past cycles, the profit start zone, well, there's limited data here for the total 3, but the profit start zone, the altcoins are in the cool down zone. They're very low in comparison. And when this heat map, when this indicator reaches the red line, it means that the total 3, the altcoin market at large, is 1-to-1 equal with Bitcoin's market cap. That's what that red line means, right? So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And then the market tops when the total 3 is equal to Bitcoin. Go over to the next cycle. You can see over here, similar thing. In the last cycle, 2021, we reached the 40th week zone. And at the 40th week zone, the altcoin to Bitcoin pair, total 3 to Bitcoin pair, is below the blue line. It's still way, way, way down here. And then right after the 40th week post-halving, there's a huge surge to nearly 1-to-1 equal to Bitcoin, right? It's very, very quick. It's basically from February to May. is when that big move happens for the alt. Right? You look at the total 3 real quick, you can see this move. I'm talking about this big move. At the 40th week, the total 3 is flying. Bitcoin is just sitting up there, right? And so if you go to where we are right now, well, we're coming up on the 40th week, and the altcoin to Bitcoin ratio is still right near that cool down zone, though it looks like we may be getting a bounce here, just like that last one in the last cycle. Right on the 40th week is when it gets really exciting for the alts. And so in terms of cycle timing, we're right on track. There's actually nothing wrong in terms of cycle timing. It's pretty much the exact same type of setup. So the altcoins at large are going to end up most likely running to becoming 1-to-1 equal with Bitcoin. And when that happens, that is usually where you get a cycle peak, is around the time, not exactly, but around the time when the total 3 is equal to Bitcoin is when the cycle is overheated. When the total 3 is equal to Bitcoin, it means that you basically just have a lot of over exuberance and a lot of euphoria is taking place when the alts are equal to Bitcoin. But what's pretty exciting though is that the altcoins are still at a major opportunity zone, right? In the last cycle, pretty much right on the 40th week was one of the best points to be getting into alts right before they go for a major surge. And so here we are once again, same timing, same setup, and it's very likely to occur in the coming months. So things are moving along as we've expected here on this channel. One thing that I try to do is create very consistent analysis that is always following up on what was said before, so that we're actually creating some kind of constructive discussion here in these videos rather than doing random analysis with random indicators. A lot of people do. I like to keep it consistent to actually tell the story as it unfolds. So be sure to like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this type of consistent analysis. And also guys, be sure to sign up for Kraken Pro. It's one of the oldest exchanges in crypto since 2011. They've survived through it all. So be sure to sign up for Kraken Pro if you haven't already using that link below. That is this platform that you guys see me use in all of my videos. And once again, join the Patreon for exclusive updates every weekday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. And that happens in our Discord. And you can only get in our Discord by being a Patreon member. You can't get in the Discord without being a Patreon member. So be sure to join Patreon today and connect your Discord to Patreon in your Patreon settings through the Connected Apps tab. And I'll see you all in the next video.